Welcome back, everyone, to the deep dive. This time, we're going to really get into AI and human intelligence.
Sounds fascinating.
You sent over this article from Simply Learn. It's called AI versus Human Intelligence 2024, a comparative study.
Oh, yeah, that one.
And it just got me thinking, like what makes us human? What makes us different from AI? Especially now when AI is getting so much more powerful all the time.
Oh, for sure. It feels like AI is everywhere now. It's definitely a hot topic. Everyone's talking about it, like what it all means for our future.
Exactly. So let's break it down, go back to basics.
Okay. Yeah.
So the article, it defines AI as, computer systems. And these computers, they can do things that usually only humans can do,
Like what kinds of things?
like learning, problem solving, even decision making.
Oh, wow.
But as humans, we do so much more than that, right?
Yeah.
We're not just like these computers crunching numbers and following algorithms.
Right. Yeah. Human intelligence is way more than that. Like, we learn from our experiences, from everything around us, and then we use that knowledge to adapt, to figure out new situations,
Right.
how we learn new languages, write a poem, or even just navigate a crowded street.
Exactly.
All those things AI still struggles with.
So it makes you wonder, can AI ever really be like us? Can it think like us, adapt like us?
That's the big question, isn't it? I mean, the article says that AI can definitely beat us when it comes to speed and processing power. Like, AI can solve these super complicated calculations in a fraction of a second. It would take us humans forever.
Right.
But there are still things AI is not so good at, like abstract thinking or even just common sense, stuff that's like second nature to us.
Yeah, it's like that saying AI can beat you at chess but can't understand why you're playing in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
But I was curious about something. The article mentions cybernetics and how it connects to AI. I don't really get it, to be honest.
Oh, okay. Well, cybernetics is all about this idea of feedback, right? Like how systems learn based on the information they get.
Hmm.
You can think of it like a thermostat. It knows the temperature of the room, and then it adjusts the heat or AC to keep the temperature just right.
Okay, I
And
see.
in a way, AI learns kind of similarly. It gets all this data, analyzes it, and uses that to get better at what it does.
So both AI and humans learn, but they learn differently, I guess.
Exactly.
But the article also talks about how we make decisions. And this is another big difference. AI makes choices based on logic and data. But humans, we bring in our emotions, our own experiences, our biases even.
Oh, absolutely. That's a huge difference. AI might be super fast and efficient, but it doesn't really understand human values or
Yeah.
context. Like, imagine a self-driving car, right? And it runs into an obstacle.
Okay.
AI might just choose the most logical solution, even if it means like putting a pedestrian in danger.
Oh, wow.
But a human driver, they would think about things like how old is the person, what's around them,
Right.
and also their own, sense of right and wrong.
So it's not just about the right decision, but also the human decision,
Right.
the one that considers our values and ethics.
Exactly.
That's a big difference. But, the article also mentions flexibility
Yeah.
and how humans are way better at multitasking and adapting to, like, new situations. They even use the example of juggling. Apparently, AI still can't quite figure that out.
That's right. AI is great at very specific tasks, but when it comes to doing lots of different things at once,
Right?
that's a real challenge for it. Like, think about how easily we can switch between, like, writing an email, making a call, helping our kid with homework.
Oh, yeah.
That kind of flexibility, AI just can't do that yet.
It's wild. It's like our brains can connect all these different things and then use them in totally new situations.
It is amazing how our brains work.
Speaking of pushing boundaries, the article talked about this crazy research they're doing, where they're actually modifying brain cells to make them learn faster. Something about tweaking the time constant of the cells. I'm not going to lie, I didn't really understand that part.
Oh, yeah, that's super interesting. So the time constant, it basically determines how quickly a brain cell processes information from other cells. And these scientists, they're speeding up that process, making the cells learn faster.
Wow, that's like straight out of a sci-fi movie.
I know, right? It's still early stages, but the possibilities are huge. Imagine designing AI that learns as efficiently as our brains.
That would be incredible. But it makes you wonder about all the jobs out there. If AI can learn faster and do things more efficiently than us, what will happen to our jobs?
That's a big question a lot of people are asking, and it's a valid concern. Some experts believe AI could replace a lot of jobs, especially ones that involve repetitive tasks or analyzing data.
The article mentioned automation being a big part of that, but it also said that AI might not completely eliminate jobs. Maybe it will just change them.
Right. And that's where we'll pick up in part 2 of this deep dive. We'll explore how AI could reshape industries, create new types of work, and ultimately change how we think about work itself.
Can't wait to unpack that.
So we were talking about, AI and the future of work and how it might change
Yeah,
things.
all those headlines about robots taking over jobs, it's kind of scary.
It's easy to get spooked by that stuff. But honestly, technology has always been changing the job market. Think about the car.
Oh, okay.
It kind of put carriage makers and blacksmiths out of business,
Right?
but then it created this whole new industry, manufacturing, repair, selling cars, all these new jobs.
That's true. So maybe it's not about being afraid of losing jobs,
Yeah.
but more about like how we can adapt, get ready for whatever comes next. The article mentions digital engineering, something
Mm.
like that. What even is that?
Yeah. Digital engineering, it's basically using, all these digital tools and tech to build and manage complex systems.
Okay.
And it's a booming field right now, partly because of AI, actually. Think smart cities, personalized healthcare solutions, that kind of thing.
So AI is making new jobs too, not just taking them away.
Exactly.
But what about the jobs that AI does automate? What happens to the people doing those jobs?
Well, that's where upskilling comes in, learning new stuff, basically.
Right.
And the article talks about that, urging people to be proactive, learn new skills, and governments, schools, they need to help too, provide resources, training programs, so people can transition into these new roles.
Like instead of having one job your whole life, you're constantly learning new things.
Yeah, lifelong learning, that's the key.
But what if AI gets so advanced it can do everything we do, only better and faster?
That's where things get really interesting. The article actually says that AI probably won't replace humans completely, at least not anytime soon. There are some things that make us unique, things AI hasn't figured out yet.
Like what? We talked about emotions and ethics and decision making, right? Is that what you mean?
Yeah, partly, but it's also about things like being creative, thinking critically, solving really complex problems. That's where humans still have the edge.
I see.
Take scientific research, for example. AI can analyze tons of data, find patterns. But to make those big discoveries, you need human intuition, creativity, the ability to, connect the dots.
So it's not AI versus humans. It's more like how can they work together?
Exactly. The article talks about a partnership, AI doing the repetitive stuff, freeing us up to do what we're good at, augmenting our abilities, not replacing us.
That makes a lot of sense. But even if we avoid mass unemployment, what about the economy in general? The article mentioned some new model of economic growth. What does that mean?
Well, AI can boost productivity, right? Make things more efficient.
Right.
And that can lead to more innovation, new products, and yeah, ultimately economic growth.
So it's not just about individual jobs, it's the whole system.
Exactly. Of course, there are concerns too, like wealth inequality, power in the hands of big tech. Those are real issues we need to address. But the potential for positive change is huge.
It feels like a huge shift is happening, and we need to be ready for it, the good and the bad. But we were talking about jobs and the economy. What about the human side of all this? The article made this point about work being more than just a paycheck.
Oh, absolutely. Work gives us purpose, a sense of accomplishment. It's how we connect with others, contribute to society. It's about feeling valued.
Yeah, I think we forget that sometimes. We focus so much on the practical stuff. But work is also psychological, social. Even in the future, work needs to be meaningful for people.
I completely agree. And that brings us to a big question, something we'll explore in part 3. How do we manage this relationship between AI and human intelligence? How do we make sure technology helps us, not hurts us?
Can't wait to dive into that. Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here. AI changing how we work, the economy, even how we think about our own intelligence. But where do we go from here? What does it all mean for us?
Well, I think it means we're at this crossroads. We've got this amazing technology, right? It can potentially solve so many problems. But it also makes us ask some pretty big questions like, what does it even mean to be human?
Right. And it's like all this stuff we talked about,
Yeah.
like modifying brain cells, making them learn faster. If we could really do that, would we even want to?
It's a tough one.
It sounds amazing, but also kind of, I don't know, unnatural.
Yeah, definitely. It's like, on the one hand, imagine learning a new language super fast or mastering a skill in no time.
That would be incredible.
But then what would it do to us? Would we even be the same people if we messed with our brains like that?
That's a really good point. And it makes you think, like, who would even get access to this kind of technology? Would it be for everyone or just make the gap between the rich and poor even bigger?
Exactly. Those are questions we need to be asking right now before this stuff becomes reality. We got to think about the ethics, the risks, what it would do to society.
It's almost like science fiction is becoming real life,
Yeah.
and we need to be ready for it.
I agree. We can't just assume that all technological progress is good. We need to think about the downsides too, and make sure we're using technology to make things better for everyone.
So what can we do? Like as individuals, how do we get ready for a future where AI is everywhere? The article talked about learning new skills, always learning.
Yeah, upskilling and lifelong learning are going to be super important. The jobs of the future, they'll need different skills than the jobs we have now.
Right.
So we got to keep learning, adapting, changing our skill set. But it's also about being aware, like knowing how AI might impact our lives and being a part of shaping how it's developed and used.
That makes sense. We can't just sit back and watch it happen. We have to be involved, ask questions, demand transparency, make sure those in power are using AI responsibly.
Exactly. The future of AI, it's really up to us. It's a powerful tool. It can be used for good or for bad. It's our job to make sure it's used for good, for everyone.
This has been an amazing deep dive.
Yeah.
It's clear AI is going to be a huge part of our lives. And yeah, there are challenges, for sure. But there's also a lot of potential for positive change.
Couldn't agree more. It's a pretty exciting time to be alive, even with all the uncertainty. That's why these conversations are so important. We need to keep asking questions, exploring different viewpoints, working together to build the future we want.
Well said. Thank you so much for joining us for this deep dive. We hope you found it insightful and maybe even a little inspiring. We'd love to hear your thoughts on AI and its impact. What questions do you have? Reach out and let us know.
Yeah, keep exploring, keep learning, keep those questions coming. Until next time.